Made it to hump day, halfway through the week,
Yay.
Lily. Welcome into NBC 16 today. Not bad. We're halfway through. I know I cheated. I skipped the first day of the week, but
right.
it feels like things are moving quickly.
Yeah, fairly quickly. And I just said fair, which is also happening today. Lane County Fair right behind us, already kicking off.
You haven't been, obviously,
No.
but it's a great time. I couldn't
yeah.
suggest it enough. Classic county fair. All the good
fairs.
snacks, all the good
Yeah.
rides, a couple good concerts coming up this week.
One you're
I'm still
particularly.
my Lupe Fiasco tickets will be purchased before the morning's over. I promise you that. I'm just deciding how much money I want to spend because I like standing and dancing.
Yeah.
That costs a little extra money.
I'm sure that whole venue will just be electric.
But the fair is going to be awesome. It's going to be hot, though. Let's head over to the Weather Center and see exactly what we're going to be dealing with. For day one of the fair, of course, the gates open officially at 11 a.m., so just 5 hours left until you can storm your way into Lane County Fair. Temperatures will be pretty warm when you get there. Now, we are just at the early 6 o'clock hour at this point, already in the upper 50s and low 60s in certain instances, and that trend will continue as you move through the day. We'll continue to see temperatures rising. It's only Roseburg where you see that 60-degree threshold build. Met, actually Silver Butte there as well, but temperatures pretty warm to start your day at this early morning hour. Now, satellite radar not showing a lot of activity. That's going to lead to what will open up our skies, and our temperature increase throughout the rest of the afternoon. There are some low-lying clouds. Those get pushed away from some winds throughout the early part of the afternoon, and once they do, that's when the warming trend really starts to kick up. We're going to get up into the low 90s across the I-5 corridor this morning. The coast going to stay a little bit cooler than that. We're prepared for things to really start to warm up here across the region as we move forward through this week. Brianna Chavez will break down exactly what we're expecting for the rest of the week here in just a few minutes.
In a developing story this morning, the CEO of Mackenzie William has been fired, as well as the hospital's chief nursing officer. The hospital confirming that both CEO David Butler and CNO Desi Shubin are no longer with the organization. No reason was given why the two were let go. An interim CEO and CNO have been appointed to temporarily fill the positions. We'll have a reporter on this story today and work to have more details tonight on NBC 16 News at 5:30. And also developing this morning, we've been covering it from the beginning, the failed transportation bill.
That's right. And this morning, an update. Oregon Governor Tina Kotek is calling a special session to address the $350 million transportation funding shortfall.
And this comes after lawmakers failed to find a compromise during the legislative session.
The governor now directing ODOT to postpone hundreds of planned layoffs set to happen at the end of this month. The special session will begin August 29th. In a statement, the governor hinted at some of her priorities for the session, saying, quote, ratepayer fairness, funding reliability, and agency accountability must be included in the solution, end quote. Democratic lawmakers originally pushed for a 12-cent increase to the state gas tax, along with other increased fees. House Republican leader Christine Drazen says she spoke with the governor. She says the governor is prepared to introduce a 6-cent increase to the gas tax.
The governor has failed to listen to the voice of the Oregonians who just cannot afford higher tax increases, and she seems determined to continue to push for higher costs for Oregonians at the gas pump.
Drazen says the governor could use emergency board funds to address layoffs without calling a special session. In a statement, the governor said the special session will focus on near-term solutions to stabilize basic functions at ODOT. The governor adding this is a first step towards solving transportation funding issues long-term. The ODOT layoffs will be delayed until September 5th unless a transportation package is passed during the special session.
A black man is suing Lane County for an alleged 2023 assault that he claims is racially motivated. 22-year-old Kev Hill filed a civil rights lawsuit against Lane County, the Lane County Sheriff's Mounted Posse, and the Lane County Fair for an incident in 2023 where he says volunteers with the posse and with a private security firm tackled him and pinned him to the ground, knelt on his back while he said he could not breathe. The lawsuit says the alleged assault happened in a church parking lot blocks away. Hill's lawyers say he was racially profiled as a suspect in a shooting outside the fair that occurred the day before. The lawsuit says the incident happened while Hill was suffering an asthma attack, vomiting blood, and pleading for help. Eugene Springfield NAACP sent a statement into our newsroom saying, in part, these reports not only suggest a dangerous disregard for public safety and civil rights, but also conjure the painful imagery that this country's racial past, armed posses on horseback pursuing black bodies, invoking echoes of slave patrols and racial terror. That such an incident could occur today in the heart of our community raises urgent concerns about how Lane County empowers, trains, and supervises individuals tasked with public safety, particularly when those individuals are volunteer auxiliaries carrying firearms. We reached out to the county, who tells us they cannot comment on the pending litigation. We will continue to follow the story as new information comes in. A trip on your favorite waterway will soon come with a cost.
NBC 16's Kennedy Wright tells us why, starting January 1st, your raft, kayak, or stand-up paddleboard will need a permit.
Invasive species in the waterways have pushed the Oregon State Marine Board to enforce a new policy. Next year, all paddler crafts will need a permit. The reasoning is twofold, but a major reason is contamination.
So the fact is, we need to fortify our borders and do our best to expand boat inspection stations. We currently only have 5 in the state at the entry points, but they're not open 24/7, and some are only seasonal. We need to keep those stations open longer, and then also look at expanding those inspection stations to water bodies where we have a lot of out-of-state visitors potentially coming from water bodies that are contaminated.
The unintentional transport of invasive species can be prevented with more boat inspection stations. Frequent paddler Nan is a fan of the mandate.
I think it's a good thing because it's for keeping endangered species from spreading through the waterways, and that's important.
As far as devices that won't require a permit,
The float crowd is not impacted. So if you have a pool toy, a beach toy, anything that's an inflatable, like an inflatable inner tube, and you float with a group of people, those folks, the float crowd, will not need a waterway access permit.
while some residents were in favor of the permit mandate, others in the community think it may serve as a barrier for folks to simply enjoy the water.
Why not? We're using them. If it's reasonable, why not?
I think the finances are tough and every dollar counts, and so when that gets taken away from you, you don't have that affordability, then I could imagine I would be really upset.
Reporting in Eugene, I'm Kennedy Wright.
Well, we talked a little bit about it yesterday. It obviously is a talker. It's been spreading on social media pretty rapidly that this potential new cost. It's nice to know that the float crowd not impacted. I thought that would be a challenging thing to enforce.
Yeah, I mean, I still think it might be a little challenging. I don't think anyone likes change, and then getting the word out, it's going to take some time. Of course, we have some time until next year, but definitely a talker on social media, that's for sure.
Yeah, we'll see the level of compliance, the level of enforcement versus education they do in those first years that new laws come out. Oftentimes you'll see more education than enforcement. Well, time will tell, obviously, as with most of these things, that we'll continue to cover it as we move forward, and come January 1st, I'm sure we'll hear all about it once again.
Oh, most definitely, we will.